What's going on, everybody? You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Not yet at the studio today. A little bit of a later day for me, as we're going to be live on the channel tonight as the Knicks will take on the Brooklyn Nets. It'll be on TNT, but we'll have a watch party here on the channel, the #1 place on YouTube to experience a game live with a whole bunch of other Knicks fans. Subscribe, turn the notifications on, and join us tonight, as well as for free videos every day leading up until the NBA trade deadline, and really every day of the year. The trade deadline is 16 days away, and if the Knicks make a move, we are going to make a video, so subscribe and turn your notifications on. I just wanted to go over what Adrian Wojnarowski had to say yesterday as he hopped on ESPN. We kind of know where the Knicks stand right now when it comes to trades. We have heard that they don't really want to sacrifice any future draft capital, particularly their own draft capital. They don't want to trade New York Knicks picks. They do have all those 4 protected picks from other teams, and that's why I believe they should make a deal. Right now, I think the Knicks are a top 3 or top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. And when you are that close to being at the top of the league, you should do whatever it takes to compete right now. Your window in professional sports is never as wide as you initially think it is. And right now, the Knicks, if they make an upgrade in the starting lineup, have a couple balls bounce their way, I think that they could be competing to represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals. But according to Adrian Wojnarowski, a big-time trade may not be on the horizon for the Knicks. Quote, "They're looking for scoring help off the bench. They made their big trade with OG Anunoby. It has paid off. They want to keep themselves in position to do another big trade for an all-star, all-NBA level player that very likely would be this offseason. That player's not available right now, but certainly players like Bruce Brown in Toronto, Alec Burks, Jordan Clarkson in Utah. The Knicks have the assets. They have an expiring contract in Evan Fournier to be able to do a trade in the short term for some bench help going into the postseason without compromising themselves on going big game hunting in the offseason. They have a lot of picks. They have a lot of assets that they can use in trades. They can do something here at the deadline and not take themselves out of the bigger thing that they hope comes along for them, probably more so in this offseason or maybe into next year." That was a bunch of word salad right there from Adrian Wojnarowski. He literally contradicted himself in saying that at first. The Knicks have the assets. They have an expiring contract in Evan Fournier to be able to do a trade in the short term for some bench help. What type of assets are we giving up for bench help? The Knicks have 8 tradable first-round picks. They have an expiring contract of $19 million in Evan Fournier. What are we talking about right now? Do we think trading 2 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray takes you out of any sort of blockbuster sweepstakes for Joel Embiid or Donovan Mitchell or Devin Booker or whatever CAA client's going to become available? No. Do you think a team that is giving up Booker, Embiid, or Donovan Mitchell would rather have late first-round picks from the Knicks and all those protected first-round picks and expiring salary, or all of those picks as well as DeJounte Murray? It makes no sense that the Knicks will not trade for DeJounte Murray. He is a player that would make them one of the top 5 starting units in the NBA, and in my opinion, it would make them the second best team in the Eastern Conference. Don't tell me the Knicks don't want to trade for Murray because they don't want to pretty much spend all their capital so they take themselves out of a trade for the offseason. That makes no sense. You know why? Because you can trade DeJounte Murray. I'm not buying into that dumb shit. I'm not stupid enough to be fooled by it. If you want to fall in that lane, sure. I'll tell you why they don't want to trade for him. It's because he's not represented by CAA. And that is a problem. That is a horrible way to run a basketball team. If you are not trading for a player because of who he is represented by, you don't deserve to be a general manager in this league. How are you going to tell me that trading Evan Fournier, Quentin Grimes, and 2 first-round picks, one of yours in 2024, like you did for Josh Hart, and 2 protected picks is too much? You would still have 5 tradable first-round picks, and you would have DeJounte Murray as the focal point of a trade going out. That would be one of the best trade packages in the NBA. We'll talk about Bruce Brown. We'll talk about Malcolm Brogdon, Alec Burks, Jordan Clarkson coming up in a second. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor of today's show, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply just choose more or less on their projected stat line. NBA, NFL, college basketball, and so much more. If you like fantasy sports and you want to give daily fantasy sports a try, do it with our proud sponsor, Prize Picks. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code and get 50% off. All right, let's just act as if the Knicks are not going to trade for DeJounte Murray, which would be an absolute joke because he would be the perfect player to play alongside Jalen Brunson. All the people that say, Marshall, it didn't work with Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Well, Trae Young shoots 35% on catch-and-shoot threes. That is well below league average. Jalen Brunson, he shoots over 45% on catch-and-shoot threes. One of the best in the NBA. Jalen Brunson is one of the best players when it comes to effective field goal percentage off spot-up opportunities. I think the Knicks could benefit a little bit more from Brunson playing a little bit off ball, but that's a conversation for another day. I believe DeJounte Murray is the player the Knicks should be going after. Also, last thing on Murray, he costs $17 million right now. His salary goes up to $27 million. That gets you another large contract that you could include when trading for another large contract player. It makes too much sense. Leon Rose, do it. Stop being a loser. All right, Bruce Brown. I have no interest in adding Bruce Brown to this basketball team. I've said it time and time again. The need for the New York Knicks is a guard. Most notably, a point guard, a guy that can create offense for himself and a guy that can create offense for others. When Jalen Brunson comes out of the game, the Knicks are one of the worst teams in the NBA statistically when it comes to net rating. So you need somebody that can operate as a facilitator, an initiator, and an engine for that second unit. Bruce Brown is not that guy. He is Josh Hart all over again. I have no interest in adding Bruce Brown. I'm definitely not giving up Grimes and assets for Bruce Brown. Alec Burks, on the other hand, he is a buy low type of player that somewhat fits what I am looking for. He can run the offense. He can create for himself. He can go and get a bucket. He can play alongside Jalen Brunson. So that makes a little bit of sense. But what is Detroit asking for? I am not giving anything up for Alec Burks outside of expiring money. Think I'm giving up Quentin Grimes for Alec Burks? Hell no. The Knicks wouldn't trade Quentin Grimes for Donovan Mitchell. Why would I give him up for Alec Burks? Only way I would trade for Burks is an expiring salary. Jordan Clarkson, I really have no interest in him as well. How many 4 for 13 games with no defensive effort is it going to take for Jordan Clarkson to be in Tom Thibodeau's doghouse? He is an inefficient jacker that does not play defense. We already have a couple of those guys. We don't need any more. You need guys that can play defense, that can create, and that can play alongside Brunson. Do I ever want to close a game with Jalen Brunson and Jordan Clarkson on the floor together? The answer to that question is no. So who is the player that I think the Knicks should trade for? If it's not DeJounte Murray, it is Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon makes a whole lot of sense. Ian Begley reported that there has not been serious talks. There's now rumors floating around on Twitter that a deal is being talked about. I don't know. I don't have any information on that. But I do know this. If you can't get DeJounte Murray, my number 2 trade target is Malcolm Brogdon. He was the 6th man of the year last year for the Boston Celtics. He fits everything that you would ever want in a player that you could add to this team. He can shoot, he can create, he can assist, he can play make, he can play alongside Brunson, and he's an average defender, and he's 6'4", 6'5", so you don't sacrifice that much size in the backcourt. I would give up Fournier and a protected first-round pick for Brogdon, or maybe a handful of second-round picks. I would do what it takes to get done, but I'm not trading Quentin Grimes for Malcolm Brogdon. Another player that I am interested in, which I don't know how it would happen due to salary cap reasons, is DeMar DeRozan. He does everything we just talked about. He's one of the best half-court bucket getters in the league. We know he's a midi god. He can get to his spot and pull up and knock it down from 17 feet better than almost anyone in this league. The Knicks need another guy like that because in the fourth quarter, when teams are blitzing Jalen Brunson and he's double-teamed in the playoffs, who's going to go get a bucket for you? I hope it's Julius Randle. but I have nothing to lean on that tells me he will be able to get it done in the playoffs. I've also heard some rumors that the Knicks have talked to the Houston Rockets about a Quentin Grimes deal. We've heard Jalen Green's name being brought up. We've heard Jeff Green's name being brought up. Tari Eason is another name. Interesting trade. I'm a big fan of Jeff Green. Always will, always have been. I like him at the power forward position off the bench. I like getting a veteran like that. But do I really want Jalen Green on this team? He's just a younger Jordan Clarkson. I like the upside. I like that there's some potential there. I like that you're buying low on a player that potentially has a high ceiling, also rep by CAA, so maybe that makes some sense there. But I probably wouldn't go after Jalen Green. I just don't think he's a Tom Thibodeau type player. Also, news around the NBA, Kyle Lowry has been traded from the Miami Heat to the Charlotte Hornets for Terry Rozier. So the Miami Heat, they got better today. Last week, the Indiana Pacers, they got better. The Knicks need to get better. They have to add someone. If you are actually serious, if you actually believe that Jalen Brunson is that guy, which I do, I think he's the best point guard in the East. I think he's the top 5 point guard in this league, and he should 100% be in the MVP conversation. If you, Leon Rose, believe that, you should be doing whatever it takes to give him the most talent around him to win an NBA championship right now, not waiting until the offseason. But maybe you don't believe Jalen Brunson's that guy. I know I do. Just get it done, man. Go get someone that makes this team better. Your window to win is never as long as you think. Because you know why? Julius Randle's going to want a $40 to $50 to $60 million contract in 2 years. Jalen Brunson's going to want that much. And then you're done. And then you're done. Now's the time to improve the team. We'll be live on the channel tonight for a Knicks Nets watch party. So subscribe, turn your notifications on. And if you made this far in the video, hit that thumbs up icon for me. Let's go Knicks.